Ever felt like being broke made you invisible? Like the world stopped seeing your heart the moment your income disappeared? Society got a lot to say about broke people, and most of it is dead wrong. Let's talk about the shame, the projection, the silent judgment, and the soul truth underneath it all. Because, baby, your worth was never up for debate. Not then, not now. Welcome to the Powerfully You podcast. I'm your host, Sharitha. I help emotionally wounded, spiritually curious people heal from trauma and reclaim their voice so that they can stop people pleasing, start living their truth, and turn their pain into power. This, pos- this podcast is for the truth tellers, the soul seekers, the ones healing in a world that would rather you stay quiet, compliant, and invisible. But you were never meant to shrink. Let's talk about it. The judgment we inherit. So let's keep it all the way real. Society treats broke people like they're less than, not struggling, not healing, not surviving, less than. It starts with the unspoken messages we learn young. Don't grow up and be like them, God forbid. They must not be working hard enough. They just made poor choices. Heard that a lot. And without even knowing it, you internalize that broke equals bad. That poverty is a character flaw. And then one day you hit a rough season and you realize that the world don't love you the same when your name ain't on a paycheck. That's when the shame creeps in. Not just because you're struggling, but because you're being seen in your struggle. What broke really reveals. See, being broke doesn't just affect your bank account, it shakes your identity. You start to wonder, who am I if I'm not working? Who am I if I'm not providing? Do I still matter if I'm not producing? That's not your soul talking. That's capitalism talking through your trauma. You've been taught your value is in your labor, your grind, your output, your paycheck. But the divine, she don't give a damn about your W-2s. She's looking at your soul, your capacity to grow, your willingness to heal and unlearn. And sometimes being broke is the only thing loud enough to break you out of that lie. The soul reframe, worth beyond wealth. Let me say this slow. You are not a dollar sign. You are not less because your account balance is low. You are not invisible because you're in a rebuilding season. Society may not respect you until you can show something, but your soul doesn't need proof. It just needs presence. You are still generous, still brilliant, still whole, even in your no money form, even when the world ain't clapping for you. And listen, I'll be honest. I had to confront my own judgments about broke people. I thought they just weren't trying hard enough, that they lacked something until I became one. And God said, now do you see? Now, do you understand the grace of their grind? Now, do you understand the strength of their surrender? Devil's advocate. But don't people need to be responsible for but don't people need to be responsible for their choices? Yes, accountability matters. But let's be clear. Most people don't choose poverty. They inherit it. They survive it. They carry systems on their back that were designed to fail them. And even if someone did make a mistake, does that make them less worthy of compassion, less deserving of dignity? What does this say about us as a society when we can't see the humanity in someone unless they're successful? Reflective moment. Let's sit with this. What have you been taught about broke people and who did that teaching serve? How do you see yourself when you're not producing, performing, or providing? What would it look like to root your worth in your being instead of doing? Can you give yourself grace for being in a season of rebuilding, not as failure, but as rebirth. Take a deep breath. This isn't the end of your story. It's just the part where the mask falls off and the truth steps in. Final soul truth. Being broke ain't a sin. It ain't a curse, and it for damn sure ain't a sign that you are less than. It is a mirror, a teacher, a spiritual checkpoint where you get to ask where you get to ask yourself, if nobody pays me, praise me, or post about me, am I still worthy? And the answer is always yes. Always has been, always will be. Because your value was never in what you do. It is in who you are. And no amount of money, struggle, or silence can take that from you. If this episode moved you, take a moment to sit with your own story, without shame, without judgment, just truth. You are still powerful, still whole, still becoming. Let this be your reminder. You may be broke, but you are not broken.